So you get out, and then how do you end up meeting Drake? Like, how long did it take until you get out? This ends up happening, and you sort of start moving in a different direction.
Pretty quick because I went in when I went to prison. I went to prison with the guys in my era, and the guys in my era, obviously now there's a younger generation that's coming up in our neighborhood, and they were into the rap stuff. So they had met up with Drake, and I guess there was some type of affiliation and stuff. This is all happening while I was in prison. I didn't even know about it. So I get out now, being the OG, not the only OG from my neighborhood, but one of them.
Right.
And obviously, you know, the younger guys are gonna gravitate to you because they want to learn, obviously, and shit. So we grew together, and they brought Drake around me. Like, I think it was a video shoot that we were shooting. Preem, you know Preem, the artist from Toronto? Yeah, he was shooting a video, and we got shut down in his neighborhood from the cops because we didn't have permits and stuff. So we needed another spot to finish the video, and that spot was my neighborhood. And Drake had a scene in the video where he pulls up in his Maybach, and that's the first time I got to meet him.
Right.
And from that day till now, we haven't left each other's side.
That's crazy. What do you think he saw in you that he seems like the kind of guy who, you know, even if like when he comes to LA, like you've seen scenes of him like that song with Game, and they're really in the hood and shit. And it's like, you know, that Drake, regardless of whatever he's actually on, he just appreciates the street side of things and respects it a lot. Is that right?
Does. Definitely, because he has friends from the streets.
Right.
You know, so he's gonna have to. You know,
it's always funny when like the news will decide to report on it and be like, look at all these crazy people that Drake surrounds himself, but they can never really put it on him. But like that's basically you right there. You're one of those guys that they want to be like, look at this guy hanging out with.
And they did it for so many years, and that's why I appreciate him and love him, because he could have been like, man, this is too much, bro. You got a lot of, you know, let me go this way because right now I'm here, and that might tamper with what I got going on here. But he never turned his back, bro.
Well, it's interesting though too, because I mean, probably a lot of people want to act like, oh, Baka's just his thug or his goon or some shit. But I mean, if you're Drake, you got like real deal security. So it's like he doesn't need you to beat somebody up for him. He's got some Secret Service motherfuckers to do that, right? So what was like the nature of you guys sort of being around each other?
It's just, imagine, like, you know, okay, I'm the biggest rapper in the world now. I'm going all over the world. I want to have people around me that I grew up with and that I can trust and I know have my best interests at hand. Why am I going to go and hire all these people to be around me that don't know nothing about me? It just wouldn't make sense.
Right.
You know? I'd rather have a couple people around me that have been around me from the beginning. Yeah. It just makes sense.
And he's very much like embraced and tried to sort of represent the soul of Canada and like where he's really from in his music. And I feel like he's somebody that's smart enough that he understands that the closer he stays to the streets, the better off. Because I mean, that's the remarkable thing about Drake is like 10 years of this shit. Like everybody's supposed to fall off
going strong
in 10 years.
Going even stronger.
Right.
It's crazy.
You just don't get into that position unless you're strategic, and you know, we've seen so many people that their music just essentially becomes sort of like bleached of any sort of interesting shit. And even a lot of the risks that he takes, like, you know, like when you put gigs on an album, you know that a lot of people are not going to get Giggs' flow.
Yep, a lot of people
but it's an important risk to take.
Very,
you know,
because he sees it, sees it and he hears it like way before I or normal people do. I swear, man, his hearing for things is totally different, man. Totally different.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So you guys become cool. What's like, there's got to be a part of you that's like, I'm my own man. I don't want to just be hanging out with somebody else that has their own shit going on. But he's meanwhile like fully embracing you and being like, come on the road with us, do all this stuff. How do you sort of find your way to fit in that kind of situation?
Well, in the beginning, man, I was doing the quote unquote security thing, right? And I was like, yo, you know, I gotta figure out my life. I mean, I'm not gonna do this forever, you know what I'm saying? And I was doing a lot of things, trying to figure out things. I even tried to do the label thing like I was telling you about. And then by me doing that, that's how I found myself. Because I grabbed a whole bunch of kids and I started doing this music thing. I wanted them to start making music because my goal was for them to make as much music as possible and then just bring it to OVO, to Drake, and be like, listen, this is what my plan is. Can you guys help me? Can this happen, you know? And go from there.
That's smart, yeah.
Right? But in the midst of that, these kids, shout out to Hypa, these kids wanted me to go into the booth one day because they must have put on a beat and I was just snapping to the beat. I was like, yo, go in the booth and say something. I went in there and I laid some crazy shit down. Crazy shit for me because I've never done it before. And I was on time. Everything it just flowed nice. I mean, the bars were probably shit, you know? But just the fact that I felt in my mind that I could flow and I could keep the timing, and I felt that it sounded amazing.
Had you not spent much time freestyling or even trying to write stuff? Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow, that's shocking.
Nothing, bro.
That you could have that skill sort of on deck, but then meanwhile you're just not even, you're thinking about everything around rapping aside from actually rapping, and then it actually works out.
Yeah, it was just crazy. But I just, like, that's why I bring that back to my father, like him playing all that music while I was a kid, all those melodies. Because sometimes I'm in the studio and melodies come in my head, like I'll hear a beat and then a melody will just pop up in my head. I'm like, how the fuck? And then I have to remember, like, this is why, man. Like, when I was a kid and all those songs were beating in my head for all those hours and days and nights, that's why.
It's like a subconscious education.
100%.
That's crazy.
Because, yo, I was saying to myself, when I tell you I love music, I really love music. I have a passion for it. But I was also upset with it as well because I'm saying, okay, I love it and all this stuff, but why don't I know how to play an instrument? Why can't I sing? Why can't I rap? Like, I was just confused with it, you know? And then here we are today.